So let's go ahead and get started on our next panel. We're talking about brand-friendly influencers and digital campaigns. What's the brand collaboration you've done where you've learned the most? Maybe it wasn't successful. Maybe there was something that you learned from that campaign that shaped the way that you collaborate with brands going forward. What comes to mind in terms of a challenge that you've had in structuring a brand campaign?
I recently did a few different campaigns with a swimwear lingerie company, and I learned a lot, and it was also actually my favorite campaign because of how much I learned. It started off by me just featuring product for free. I wasn't making any money off of it, and the relationship that grew from that with that brand. Now, I went to Kauai and they sponsored my trip because of the content that I was able to create for them, and our communication, they're working with one person versus working with another person in the company. I realized you can get two completely different answers from the same company. And so when I was told no by one of the contacts there, I thought, well, that's strange. I wonder if she's in a different department because I was told something completely different. And then they realized, oh, we're working with the same influencer in two different departments. And then it solved the problem. But I would say that, yes, that was my favorite, and it's still ongoing. Every time they have a new collection come out, I'm one of the first influencers they reach out to because of the relationship we've built. Now they do activewear, so I've been able to establish an activewear section on my blog, and that opens up the door for other activewear brands, so it's been great.
I think for me, in a broader sense, it really comes down to just making sure that you have proper expectations on both sides of the fence, because I know, especially when you're starting out and you're really excited and some brand wants to work for you or some watch company hits you up or whatever, and you get really excited about that at first, but what they might be asking from you might be more than what you're willing to give for what you're getting in exchange, or vice versa. So just having all of that kind of clearly defined, whether it's super tangibly, like I'm gonna post 3 times on my feed, 8 times on my stories, like whatever, or more kind of like abstractly, just an understanding of what sort of content you're gonna try to create, because sometimes you are in remote areas, logistical things happen, so kind of having like a backup plan for that, but also just like a trust between you and the brand that you're working with, where you establish a relationship that they know that your intention is to like blow their minds and make them really happy.
I think my favorite collaborations now are the ones that support smaller businesses. I really love seeing and partnering with smaller businesses to help them grow and flourish, especially when they don't have as much of a larger budget, because in my mind, even if they don't have as large of a budget, if I care about the brand and I'm passionate about the brand, I'll want to work with that brand. And so for me, those are my favorite newer collaborations, are ones with smaller brands that I can really connect to, that you make a really great personal relationship with their team, the people that you're working with, and you really love and enjoy promoting the product. So for me, that's kind of my favorite recent collaborations.
So this whole panel is described as brand-friendly influencers. Are you brand-friendly? How do you think about that?
A brand can trust me to create content that's not going to be controversial and that's going to stick to their aesthetic and mind, and that's easy to work with. I
think a huge part of that is, being very committed and being very communicative with the expectations on both ends. So obviously always having a contract, committing to what you're actually agreeing to, and actually giving that to the brand. And then also, my whole thing on my Instagram and my blog is just being positive and being encouraging. So I don't just want to showcase my style and present clothing and cool clothing to my followers, but I want to be encouraging to them. So I guess that's how I would be brand friendly.
I think that we use the word authenticity a lot, and if you're authentic to yourself and to your creative style, that voice is going to resonate with certain people and certain brands. And so what's really cool is when you get approached by a brand that likes you for you or what you do, the collaboration becomes very effortless because you're already on the same page right at the beginning. So I think that just having kind of a vision for what you want to put out in the world and then following through with that in general is going to attract the right people to work with. And I know for me, like a lot of the brands I work with, they're not just like these brands or these companies, they're my friends now. Like those are the people that I like care about and think about, and it's really cool.
About being brand friendly is being friendly. No one in this industry, regardless if you have 1 million followers or if you have 5 followers, you have to be friendly to every single person. Be nice and remember people's names, and just do all these things, this etiquette that you should as an entrepreneur. Showing up as a good person, and people will see that. That will resonate amongst everybody and everyone, and people would want to work with you. They'll jump at the opportunity to be a part of whatever you have going on. And I can't stress that enough. It's a new industry, it's evolving, and it's not like, oh, I'm gonna screw you over to get ahead, because you'll never get ahead. It's too small for it to actually benefit you. It's like, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back for sure, so that's, for me, that's brand friendly.
You all started your content really with a passion in mind versus trying to make money. At least that's what really came through. And I think a lot of people that are thinking about getting into, like, they want to become an influencer, it seems like that's where it needs to start from in order to be successful. Would you guys agree with that?
I really just wanted free clothes when I started. But no, there was a passion there too to share what I was wearing with my readers, and it evolved, and then I loved it more and more. So
I think that a lot of times in the beginning, people are too focused on the following side of things. Everybody wants followers right away, and they're not concerned with, like, what am I saying and what am I doing that's of value? And so for me, I think I started doing photography, filmmaking stuff like 10 years ago, and just because I love doing it. I didn't even know the word influencer when I started, so I think that if you set out to be an influencer, you're kind of like setting out to be fast food. You're trying to, not really do anything, but if you set out with an intention and a message and put the art first, that's when the audience will come. It's like if a band put out a great song and you listened to it and you were super into it, and then you went to check their Spotify and that was the only song that they had out, that'd be a bummer. You want to go check out their Spotify and be like, oh dang, they have like 3 albums out, and get like all into it. But imagine now that band, they put out that first album and nobody heard it, and that second album nobody heard it. But eventually when everybody does hear it, there's a whole catalog to go back through. So don't worry about the following, that'll come.
If anyone wants to start being an influencer, is just recognizing the fact that we each have such a unique individual story, and fashion is really a means of an outer expression of our innermost personality. And so for me, that was a huge reason why I wanted to start my blog. Not to glorify myself or just post photos of myself so people can like it, but so that I could really embrace the person I was and showcase that to other people in a positive and encouraging way. And that was kind of my deeper passion on why I wanted to start a blog.
I just wanted to go back and add to my point, because part of me was joking, but part of me was serious. Going back to why I started my blog, I saw these girls traveling and doing what they love to do, and I thought, I can do that. And the clothes, yeah, that was great, but I don't blog because of the clothes, and no one here blogs for the free stuff. They blog because they love to share what they're doing, and you can tell when a person has passion with their blog, because it is so much work that I don't think people realize. Nights, evenings, weekends, holidays, we don't have anymore, but we love it, and you'll burn out if you don't have passion for it.
And you guys, everyone on the panel is full-time, right? This is your vocation, right? And so that's pretty cool, right? Because 4 or 5 years ago, this kind of didn't exist. And here we are. But what's the best brand campaign that you've done that's had the biggest impact, either for your following, for the brand, that you're just like so excited about, that has been, kind of something you've learned from that you want to do the next one?
We are all our own ad agency. We hire our photographers, we pay them because we know that the creative is worth it. And I want to see all of my creative photographers and stylists and hair people, I want to see them all successful, because this is an industry that's evolving.
There's a brand some of you might know called Valfrey. Do you know Valfrey? Yeah. They're like a cool, like trendy LA brand. I guess they started here, but when I moved to LA 3 years ago, they were kind of the first brand that hired me, took a chance on me, and they weren't very big yet. They were just selling like, Valfrey's an artist, so they sold prints and graphic t-shirts, and we started doing photo shoots or whatever, and then we used Instagram to build their platform up. I think they probably have like 700,000 or 800,000 followers now, and they're a full fashion line. They put out new collections all the time. They're international now. Like, they've just completely grown from literally like a garage business to like a full-fledged fashion brand. And it's been really cool to kind of grow together, and they set that gold standard I was talking about of like the relationship, the family, like the vibe that you want to have with the people that you work with. They're just incredible to work with, and I feel like they're always innovating and they're always elevating, and it motivates me to always, every time I work with them, to innovate and elevate and do something better than the last thing that we did together.
I think the thing that kept popping in my mind is recently not just fashion collaborations, but experience collaborations and travel collaborations. And something I am super passionate about is capturing experiences, capturing travel. And so recently I partnered with a hotel chain in Santa Barbara called the Belmont, and I kind of approached them saying, I have this amazing group of girls. We're coming out to Santa Barbara for a bachelorette party, and there's multiple influencers in the bridal party and the bachelorette crew, and we'd love to come to your hotel. We'd love to have a dinner there. Like, let us know your thoughts. And in turn, they were like, oh, we'd love to host you guys, and we'll give you a free dinner. I was like, okay, that sounds cool. So we went to the hotel and we told them, you know, up front that we would give them all the photos. We'd take lots of amazing imagery for them, promote them. Every girl would promote them on their Instagram stories and everything. And my expectation was just, okay, this is going to be great, but nothing crazy. They're just going to give us a dinner. And we arrive and literally were treated just like royalty from them. It just completely blew out my expectations and every girl there. They had done this entire beautifully decorated room just for us, for the bride. They made this catered menu that said Jessica's bridal or bachelorette weekend with all these florals. It was just the most beautiful, amazing experience, and something that we could have never expected. And while we were there, they were like, anything you want, anything you want. They gave us live music. They had a 5-course dinner for us. And it's experiences like that where I want to talk about it now and tell everyone, go there, because their customer service is the most amazing thing you'll ever experience. And those are the kinds of brand collaborations that, I mean, it's a hotel, it's a restaurant, but those things, and brands, fashion brands can do the same thing. But when you're going above and beyond for someone and really connecting with them, being friendly, it makes all the difference. So for us, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll come back and do anything for you guys for free, you know, at this point. So that's probably my recent most favorite brand collaboration.
So I was thinking about the different campaigns I've done over the years, and I can't pick one favorite because they're all great in different ways and with brands that I truly love. But I was thinking, you know what, they all have a few different things in common, and those are what I think are really important. Starting off, they are personable with you, so you email back and forth. Communication is so important, and it's nice to be able to put a face to a name if you like have a phone call or meet over Skype. Communication. 2, their expectations for what they're looking for in the campaign are clear, so that after I've spent 3 days shooting a video for them, they're not going to come back and say, yeah, but could you do it here? That was 3 days down the drain. And also that a budget is great. That is so helpful, especially if you want to create something above and beyond. If there isn't a budget, if they can provide anything in any kind of way, like maybe extra product or a budget for just props or something, because the digital space is getting more and more difficult to create, you know, truly unique content. So communication, flexibility. Sometimes something will come up, you know, let's say you're doing a campaign for a very little budget, but then there's an event the next day. If the brand's willing to be flexible, that helps so much. And after the campaign is done and they love it and everything, to grow a relationship. Going back to growing a relationship, I guess my favorite campaigns are the ones where I get to continue to work with this person, because then I know what they expect. I know how to blow them out of the water. I'm willing to go the extra mile for them. And when a brand is fun and easy to work with, influencers want to go above and beyond. If you are emailing us back and forth saying, hi, we know we asked you not to put your face in the picture, but now can you put your face in the picture? I'm like, yeah, let me just schedule with my photographer again and like go buy, you know, $1,000 worth of flowers and just set this up. But no, not that that's happened, but expectations, just make it clear. We'll make it clear from our end, and that's really helpful.
That's great. So what I love from all of the examples is that when brands really get that collaboration with influencers right, the power for the brand in terms of building the brand can be incredible, right? So getting that relationship right can be really valuable, not just for you guys and your fans, but also for the brands.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have to have a backbone, you know, because a lot of people, I mean, if you give me the ice cream, I'll eat the whole thing. You know what I mean? So, and that's human nature. Everyone's going to do that. But you have to be able to be like, hey, this is my rate. This is what I'm worth. Then I'm not going to, you know, compromise myself for something. Or if you feel like you can, you know, you can do whatever they want to do, then do it. It's all up to you. I remember I did a collaboration. I forgot to add this. I did a collaboration. And I mean, the collaboration, the fans for the brand, they did not take well with it. Because I have a tattoo, I'm a little bit edgy, and the brand was Lily Pulitzer. And I even, when they reached out, I was like, what? You want to work with me? Okay, I'll produce content, you know, we'll do this, right? And then it ended up like I did my stuff, sent it off, and their fans, like, they were just like, what is this? This is not the brand, blah, blah, blah. And I just went on a trip with them last week, and they didn't care, you know? They were just like, we love you, we love your style, we love the quirkiness. And so, yeah, it's just like, knowing what you're worth and what you can do, what the brand, you know, the brand's going to believe in you if they want to work with you, and it's just creating relationships, really.
I think it's really important as well, like the brands do their proper research, and there's now a lot of tools that can help you, you know, approach to these type of influencers that you are willing to work with and represent your brand, such as Social Blade, for example. You can see like how an actual entrepreneur or social media digital content creator, whatever you want to call it, is legit, how they're following, where's the background, what is the target of this person, who is following this person, the age rate and everything, and see if this matches with your actual brand. And if it does, then you approach to the entrepreneur. But if not, like, you have to do your research. You just cannot go and pitching, you know, and like be like, oh, this person has 1 million followers, I'm gonna email them. Maybe has nothing to do with your brand, and like you're just wasting time, money. And you know, sometimes it's not just about the following, which is something we talk a lot about it, but sometimes it's about like, who is following this person? What is the target? And like, is this person targeting the same as I'm trying to target? Then you're on the right path.
I'm super open to, if somebody wants to say, hey, like for this PR thing or whatever, would you actually come to this event, or would you do whatever it is? But where I kind of draw the line is that at the end of the day, we might be advertising a product, but we aren't advertisements ourselves. So I won't do like something that feels like fake, or something that feels cheesy, or like I'm being salesy or pushy. Like I won't do a caption on a product that's like, buy now for 30%. Like, I don't know, it's just not my thing. Like, I think that that you have to allow for it to be seamlessly integrated. Like, I think it's super cool when there's a product that I literally would have spent money on that is now paying me to like have it. You know, that's amazing, but it's very different than actually kind of like selling out your identity for a paycheck. I only did that one time. I did a campaign with Budweiser that they like made me say certain stuff, but honestly, I just like made them pay an amount that I was like, well, all right. All right, I'll sell it a little bit once.
I'll draw the line again at anything that isn't authentic, because as an influencer, all we have is our brand, and when you start to sell out, your readers will know right away and then you'll lose them, and then what do you have? Nothing.
I think the one thing is that you want to partner with someone who is passionate about your brand so that they in turn will do more for your brand. So if you start with a small collaboration and that goes well and the influencer really enjoys the brand, then they're willing to do more PR. They're willing to probably even do it for free in ways, like because they already own the product. If they're really passionate about the brand, they're gonna probably wear it and post it on their Insta story. Or if they're in town for an event, they're going to want to go to it just because they already love the event. So I think it's about making that initial connection first and creating that really great relationship from the beginning, and then it becomes a lot easier to ask more from the influencer down the line.
I've got this. My brand's name, my blog's name is Laura Lily, and I love the emails that say, "Hi, Lily." I don't know if you read my About Me page, but Lily is not my name at all. I like emails that are very concise because we're constantly on the go. And if you say, hey, we have a paid collaboration for you in the subject line or in the first, even if it's not paid, if it's like, we have a great collaboration, this is it, a paragraph or less, I'll be interested, I'll respond, please tell me more. And then when you do respond with more information, give me the bullet points so I know exactly what I'm getting into. That's it.
Yeah, and short contracts. I mean, it's like, it would just, I mean, you want an Instagram post, why do we need a 20-page contract? Well, that's beyond me, you know? You just need a 2-pager, and then I'll sign that thing and we'll get that thing going.
And to add to that, because that's perfect, but if it has a personal touch where I can tell that it's not just like almost, because I'm sure you guys do too, like almost every day, like different agencies or whatever, and you're like, am I just on some list or something? Like, so something where it's like, dude, I saw that post you did and wherever, and that was really dope, like we want to work with you.
Yeah, something's personal, even about our style or about our aesthetic, that will definitely stand out for me. So I don't think it's just a mass email that they sent to me and 20 other influencers and hoping that one of us says yes or replies back to them.
So how, in the earlier panel, one of the influencers said that she got through about 300 emails a day, inbound emails from like, hey, we want to collaborate. How many emails do you guys get a day with that?
I'm not that cool. I don't get 300 a day. Maybe like, I don't know, a dozen or 2 dozen or something. But still like enough that like, it becomes white noise pretty quickly. Sure. If it's not personal.
I think also titling the email is very important, like paid collaboration of XYZ, something like that will stand out. I don't get 300 emails a day from brands, no way, but I do have multiple emails, like my side business, my personal email, and my blog email, so it's kind of balancing all of that. So when I do get to my blog emails, it has to be very clear and concise and easily stand out.
I think there has to be a little bit of sense of urgency also. We do get a lot of emails. I'm with Rosa on that, you know, it's seasonal thing with the, you know, you get a holiday, you get the spring, that's our schedule here. But when the brands follow up, that's the best thing with events, and because, I mean, it gets overwhelming because you're like, okay, I have like this 5 events that day, 7 events that day. So if a brand follows up and they're like, hey, just making sure the day before, hey, just making sure that you're going to be at this event, you're like, oh, yes, I'm there, you know? So things like that really help out with our schedule. And obviously we're paying attention, but it's just easier, you know, when you can get a little bit of a spark in there. Sometimes it's also easy if you can also approach through DM or like maybe a comment, because, you know, sometimes you can skip an email. So like sometimes, hey Rosa, we send you an email if you know, and that helps a lot. Like actually, like, because I read my comments every day, like just to check, you know, people is having a good feedback about it and everything. So that's helped. Like
if you just actually comment on a picture or send a DM, there's something about that just feels more like casual in a good way than like an email. At least to like start the relationship. You can slip into our DMs too. We don't mind that, you know. So slip in there. Tell us whatever you need.
Yeah, no, it's interesting the variety of feedback, because I think on the earlier panel people were kind of saying don't DM me.
Don't DM me.
I check my DMs.
Email's okay, but not DM.
Yeah, I check my DMs and I'm like, yeah, email me whatever you need. But if I get a DM, obviously I'm going to look for that email, and it's just efficient. I feel like, because if they're DMing you, if they're sending a tweet your way, and they're all over the place, I'm like, oh, they really want to do something together,
I think it's a little bit about the content. Like if they were the stuff that you put in an email, if that's in the DM, if it's like super formal, it might feel kind of like weird.
Yeah.
But if it's just like, love this shot, hey, we're going to send you an email about something that we think you would think is cool or something, like that's more like the vibe.
And off topic, what Laura told me earlier today, she's like, oh, do you pitch to brands? If I see something, actually, I just thought about this. If I see something on my Instagram feed, then I'm like, oh, that's a dope purse. I'll just directly message that brand and be like, I love this purse. And then if they want to work with me, they're like, hey, can we send it to you? Or, so I'm like, yeah, yes, you can. I definitely need it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love that. But I think in general, all of us at this point in time are almost more on Instagram than we are on our emails. Not necessarily all the time, but off hours. I'm not always on my email at 8 p.m., but I'm probably on my Instagram. So I don't mind having DMs because I'm looking at them all the time, or a comment. I think that's great because we are so active on our Instagram accounts. So, but it definitely needs to be followed up with an email too, for sure.
See what influencers are working with charities already, because honestly, like it's the same thing. Barney's, comes to me and asks me, hey, how are we going to work with influencers to do a campaign that's like charity based? We want to help people. We want to do good things. We're all influencers here. And at a certain point, it's like, obviously, Mark Zuckerberg, look what he's doing with Facebook. It's like he's doing these campaigns and pumping money into things. For one, I'd reach out to like Facebook and see what they can do, and I have a contact over there that I can give you. But yeah, we want to help people. So if you have something that's charity-based, it's easy for us to be like, well, there is no budget for that, and we're doing good things, So it's kind of like a shoo-in. And I tell every brand that basically, if you want to do something with influencers and you don't have a budget, pick a charity, because 9 times out of 10, no influencer is going to do something for free, but they would do something for a charity, so it helps out.
Would it be helpful on that if your charity had a way of helping the influencer understand the impact that they have as they engage with you? So 1,000 kits, right, have been sent out to women who've been deployed overseas. Would that be helpful for you to see the impact when you're having that type of engagement?
I just help a lot of charities out. I'm an ambassador for 4 charities, and if I can do something for somebody, I totally feel obliged to it. I don't think twice about doing it. The thing that I feel will help you as well is if you kind of try and find people in that field. Like if there's a military person that's also an influencer, that has a lot of followers. I know there are. Maybe they're a fitness person or something like that. See if they want to reach out and, reach out to them and see if they would want to help, and I'm sure they would. They're not going to be like, oh no, I don't want to help this, this thing that I'm already into. Like, they're going to be like, yeah, they're going to tie into it for sure.
Dulce Candy is an influencer who served abroad, and she might really resonate. She's, several million subscribers on YouTube. Dulce Candy, yeah.
DULCE.
Yeah.
The cool thing about influencers is we all work together. So, if we're working with a brand, I'll talk to Rosa like, hey, I saw you're on this or whatever, like, what are you doing? So we'll have meetups.
I think it's kind of tough a little bit because it's not like buying a cup of coffee with a set price. Every job is different. I think for me, I was way more scared to talk money in the beginning than I am now, because at first it was like this thing that you almost dance around, but now it's just like just a simple question, what's your budget? Because then based on that budget, it's not like, oh, okay, now I'm just going to make this much more money. I can tell you what I can offer you for that. If you have more money, I can offer you more posts. As a photographer, I can offer you more actual collateral, photos, videos, whatever it might be. So it's not just like, by you telling me your price, it lets me tell you what I can do, and then we can kind of like negotiate from there. But I also think everybody's pretty open to negotiate too, so nothing's ever like written in stone once you say something.
Negotiation is so key in this industry. I mean, that's part of why I love it. I get to be creative, and I get to negotiate deals. Some bloggers are scared to talk about money. I'm not, but there's so many factors that are included when I'm going to work with a brand. What is the product that they're offering me? What is their social media following? If they're huge and they're willing to repost me, I'll accept a little less money for that. Or if they're much smaller and they don't have a big of a budget, then I'll do it. You know, package deals. Those are great because it works out best for the brand and for the influencer.
And what's a package deal?
A package deal would be like, I have one where I'll do a giveaway and a sponsored post and a social media promotion across all my channels. If you don't have a big budget, I highly recommend offering a giveaway for the influencers' readers. Our readers love to get free product. It's not something that they get daily. So yeah, like I said, it depends what they have to, what the brand has to offer, who the brand is, how much they want from us, and if they say, you know, well, we only have this much. I also actually ask, what are you looking to do? Because that's a huge factor. If you want a YouTube video and you have a $25 budget, let's negotiate this. But if you're also a hotel and you can offer us, you know, a 3-day trip, all expenses included, we might be willing to do that for free. So it just depends.
Just a friend of mine told me this a while ago, and it's kind of what helped everything click for me, was he just has this simple equation that he uses. He's another freelancer, and it's kind of like a little triangle of, one question he asks himself is, how much do I want to do this project? Like, oh my God, this would be amazing for my portfolio. This would be an amazing, I've always wanted to travel to this place. So that's kind of like one part of it. The second part is, how much do I like the client? Do they seem really amazing? Have I worked with them before? Do they seem like they're going to be really difficult? And then the third part is, what's their timeline? Do they need this yesterday? Or is this something that's kind of like, you know, you can do on your schedule? And then based on that, if you kind of have a set day rate, it's not that mine necessarily like goes up, but it can maybe like go down based on if it's like, man, I love this guy, it's a really cool project, and I can kind of fit it into my schedule, then I'm probably going to be able to work with you a lot more than if it's the opposite on all of those.
I also would suggest that if you don't have like a big budget, but maybe you can extend the collaboration and make it like a long-term thing. Instead of being just one post, say, okay, we want to work on 3-month contract, and you're going to be posting 1 picture a month or something like this. And this maybe is not that much of money, but like at the end of the day, like also you want to establish long-term relationship with the audience, and also engage with your audience, and like don't look like a sellout, like I just did one time this collaboration and never again. And also this creates sales for the brand, because this is, you know, like you're creating engagement with both, and like you're offering, you know, like a budget that maybe, you know, like you're gonna have extra amount of content that would help as well. And if you cannot afford maybe an Instagram post or a blog post, I would always suggest, because there's a lot of ways that you can also do collaboration. Instagram stories are great, Snapchat is great, Twitter is great. Maybe a mention, like ask like how many followers or like how many Facebook friends you have, because you don't know, maybe this person is not really followed by many people on Facebook, but they do have a lot of friends, maybe 3,000, and those 3,000 are gonna read, like they're their friends, they believe it, like what they say. So like always ask all the social media channels, because this is really important. Don't be scared if they just say like a huge amount, like you're like, okay, thank you, we'll collaborate in another time. No, like ask, you know, if you're really into working with this person.
Also, oftentimes if somebody has a high rate, I know for Rosa and I, we get a lot of editorial press when we're going to Fashion Week and Coachella. We'll be in the magazines. So if we tell a brand like X amount of dollars, it's probably because they're going to be worldwide in other publications, you know, because that's what we do for
yeah, like for
brands.
example, I gave I borrow Tanya's jacket, and like then she was all featured all over Harper's Bazaar Italy with an article on her she didn't even know, and the brand was so happy.
Yeah, but that's also, I mean, I'll quote people rates, and my rates are high, but I know that if you're going to tie into me for an event like Coachella, Fashion Week, or we're going to do a blogger trip with a bunch of people, I might be like, oh, my friend works out, my friend's shooting for W Magazine. Maybe I'll just bring him on the trip and he'll shoot the thing and then pitch it to that magazine, or stuff like that. The influencers have different types of pull in whatever industry they have. So that's other things to kind of think about. When you research the influencer, you'll see maybe in their feed or on their blog posts like what they're
see their friends who they hang out with,
what press they get. Yeah,
everything.
So just a moment ago, we got a 5-minute call, so we actually might have time for one more question. Is there anything else burning in the audience? Lunch is on the other side of this panel, so let's thank our panelists. Thank you guys for a great discussion, and they'll be here afterwards. Thank you.